So today we'll be talking on variables and data types. Variables and data types. Ignore the color change for hand. That's because and there's an already made instruction in Python. So what is a variable? A variable is a container where your code is actually being kept. A particular value, a particular data or information is being stored in. That is what a variable is. I actually prefer calling a variable warehouse. In your warehouse or in your storeroom, you've got stuffs kept in it. Don't like this case, once you call out your warehouse or you call out your storeroom, Python doesn't give you the storeroom. Rather, Python gives you the value of the storeroom. Based on the value assigned, it decides on its data type. You can always store a different data type in a variable. What I'm trying to say is, okay, let's work with an example. So now X in this case is the variable. It is the warehouse. It is the container where something else, a value, a data type, an object is being kept. 45 is our data, is our value, is the object being kept in our warehouse, and the equal to sign is the assign trigger for Python. Meaning, if I say A equals B, I'm telling Python store B in A. If I say K equals 25, I'm telling Python to store 25 in K. So we've got different data types. We've got integers, we've got strings, we've got lists. Now for today, we'll base more on integers. Integers are numbers. And there are several rules governing our naming, choosing a variable name, but we'll learn more of that as time goes on. So if I say x equals 45, remember we'll use our print statement. So I say print x. If I run it, let's call it variables. You see, it gives me 45. Over here, I tell Python print out x, print out the warehouse, print out the container, but rather it gives us the value of the container. Okay. And if you notice, while using the print statement in this case, I didn't add the quotes like we did when we printed out hello world. That's because there are different data types. Now, for hello world is a string. In Python, whatever that is encased in quotes are known as strings. And also, this is a variable, so that's why it's not encased. We could also store hello world in a variable, say a equals hello world. Print a. Now when I run it, you see it gives out hello world. Now let's try something. I take off the quotes from hello world and I run. Now you see I get the prompt invalid syntax and I'm being pointed to hello world. Reason because Python checks through and Python says that A is a container since it doesn't have quotes, and we are having an assign trigger, which is the equal to sign, and then it checks whether we are assigning to it. It's finding out that we're assigning something without quotes, which in turn it interprets as a variable, and now it checks this variable. This variable is empty and it actually doesn't conform to the rule in naming a variable, because in Python, when naming a variable, you're not allowed to make use of spaces in your variable names. So Python checks and Python sees that, okay, even if it's a variable, it's a wrong variable name. So let me take up the space to see if Python will still recognize it. Now you see name error, name hello world is not defined, because it has actually checked and it says that, okay, you are assigning a container to another container, and this initial container doesn't have a this second container you're adding to the initial container doesn't have a value. I hope we understand. If you do not, let me know in the comments. I'll be in the comment section to answer your questions. So that's how you make use of a variable. And for our data types, I already explained on integers. Integers are whole numbers, and also we've got floats. So we've got integers, we've got floats. Integers are your whole numbers, 2, 5, 10. Floats are your decimal numbers, numbers that are actually accompanied with decimals. Okay, in getting to know the type of data you're working with, you could do this. Type A. Now I just said print type A, meaning I want to know what type of data A is, and you can see over here it said A falls into what? str, which stands for string. How about we find out 45, print type X. Okay, so what does it do? You see int, which stands for integer. So let me bring in a new value. Okay, so and now you've got float. So for the very first one, A, it is a string. For the second one, X, it is an integer. And for the third one, B, it is float. That will be all for today's class. Do not forget to subscribe and follow this series for more.